Can Colts fans, for 1 second, stop hating on Jacoby Brissett? I mean, the guy has gotten a bad rap since, is that the correct term? He's gotten off on the wrong foot. Ever since his first season here, he had to start because of Andrew Luck getting injured, and everybody blamed him, even though at the time we didn't have, our only good receiver really was T.Y. Hilton. Terrible offensive line except for Anthony Costanzo. Defense wasn't much better. I mean, Robert Mathis, actually no, he was retired by that point, right? Yeah, Robert Mathis was retired by that point. And then this year, after Andrew Luck retiring, everybody just took their hate out on him, when he actually did pretty good up until he got injured. Like, people only focus on Jacoby. How about you focus on, I don't know, our safeties sucking? It's a mix of our defensive coordinator sucking and our safeties and cornerbacks just sucking. Our defensive line was great. Safeties sucked. Cornerbacks sucked. Our defensive coordinator sucked. Nobody focuses on that. No one wants to focus on the fact that he was in MVP conversations up until he got injured. Possible Pro Bowler up until he got injured. Beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Had a pretty good season. Better than Phillip Rivers is going to have this year. And only threw 6 interceptions. Sure, he only threw 18 touchdowns to that, but we also have good running backs that we hand off to a lot. So a lot of his receiving yards and touchdowns are going to be taken away because of handing it off to the running back, because we have good running backs like Marlon Mack. Like, if you are not, it's almost as if you're not the quality of Peyton Manning, then you are hated on. And people seem to forget, Peyton Manning, in his first season, it was either his first or second season, the Colts were 3-13. No one talks about that. But you still gave him a chance. You still let him start. Andrew Luck, throughout all of his injuries, we still supported him. Why aren't we supporting Jacoby? I don't understand it. It's not his fault that Andrew Luck retired, and I'm not blaming Andrew Luck for that. I mean, I would retire too if I was, like, really injury risk, if I was at a high risk for injury and could possibly just ruin my body for the rest of my life just to play a couple seasons of football. So I don't blame Jacoby for that. I don't blame Andrew for that either. But everybody else seems to. And people are saying that we should trade him for a 3rd-round pick. Why? No. Everybody only wants to focus on the negative with Jacoby. Nobody wants to focus on the positives. It's always Jacoby's fault. Everything's blamed on Jacoby. He can never do anything right. Even though he's done a lot of good things, and people just fail to recognize it because they're too busy hating on him because he's not the level of Peyton Manning, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Nobody is going to be like Peyton Manning. Not even Andrew Luck was like Peyton Manning. And nobody's going to be like Andrew Luck. He was a special talent. But why don't you accept Jacoby for being a special talent in his own right? He can scramble and he can throw at the same time. And he's very efficient. Sure, he wasn't hitting deep passes, but he was hitting short passes, like 20, 30 yarders, that got us down the field and scored touchdowns. He was scoring either way, and he was very efficient. But because he doesn't make the highlight plays like Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning, nobody wants to call him a good quarterback. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in Colts fans as of late. I've changed my opinion on trading the first rounder for DeForest Buckner. I actually have changed my opinion on that. I think it was a good trade. I like that. Because the Colts were probably going to draft a QB to replace Jacoby. I still don't like the Phillip Rivers signing. And I don't like that Colts fans are hating on him. He's he came to Indiana his first season, had to very quickly learn Chuck Pagano's playbook. Then, next season, Frank Reich, he didn't play in an actual game. Sure, he got to practice it, but practice is different from the actual game. Anybody who's played football can tell you that. Practicing it in practice is different than doing it in an actual game. And then this season, he wasn't expecting to start. We were all expecting Andrew Luck to be the starting quarterback. Then all of a sudden, boom, Andrew Luck retires and he has to get ready. And he has to prepare for that. He has to prepare for week 1. Every time that he's had to start, it's been very rushed. Nobody wants to notice that. And you're going to say, I know people are saying, well, Phillip Rivers is a better quarterback. He's not. 23 interceptions. But he made the highlight plays, right? He made the highlight plays, so it doesn't matter. Why? It's idiotic that we can't just accept Jacoby for what he is, and what he is a great quarterback. And if we actually gave him a chance and didn't just dismiss everything he did, then we would realize that he is a great quarterback. But if you're not Peyton Manning, or you're not Andrew Luck, you immediately get hate. If you don't lead the Colts, and some of the losses weren't even his fault. How about the 2 games that he had to sit out and Brian Hoyer threw interceptions in? What about those games? What about the game against the Texans, where they fumbled the ball, and we definitely would have went down there and scored a touchdown, because Jacoby is clutch. And if Jacoby wasn't clutch, Marlon Mack would have been clutch. One of the two. And Andrew Luck didn't always lead us to winning seasons. No one wants to focus on that. No one wants to focus on the times that Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning struggled. But all they want to focus on is Jacoby Brissett struggling, and never want to focus on him doing good and being a good quarterback. It's disappointing. I swear to you, if he made the Pro Bowl, Colts fans would still call him a terrible quarterback. I was going to say if he won an MVP, but maybe not. They'd probably call him a mediocre quarterback if he won the MVP. But they'd still call him terrible or trash if he went to the Pro Bowl. Like I said in the Phillip Rivers video, this is the first time I've ever thought about wanting to not be a fan of a certain franchise. And I'm a Tigers and Red Wings fan. And they have sucked. I mean, they have sucked. and I want to leave. I don't want to be a Colts fan, but I'm going to stick with them because I'm not a bandwagon. I'm not going to leave just because of idiotic fans. Jacoby, if you're watching this, and you're probably not, but if you're watching this, I'm behind you all the way. In fact, I'm going to buy your jersey soon. The government has said that they're going to give for families of 4, and I am in a family. That was lightning. Okay, then. But the government has said that they will give families of 4, and I am in a family of 4. They will give each child $500. With whatever cut of that I get. My parents said I'm not getting all of that, because they're going to use some of it to, like, fix up the house and stuff, and to like, stuff like that. But, with whatever cut of that I get, even if it's half of it, it's $250, I'm going to use it to buy your jersey, Jacoby. You're probably not watching this, but I'm still going to talk to you. I'll at you on Twitter, too. So. But I'm fully behind you. I've supported you since your first season here. And please don't leave us just because of how bad the front office has treated you. Because I'm hoping that when Phillip Rivers sucks, Frank Reich will make the right decision and start Jacoby over him once Phillip Rivers starts to suck. And when that happens, I will be fully behind you, Jacoby, and I will root for you, and I will know that you have what it takes to get it done for the Colts. And I know that you're better than Phillip Rivers. $25 million we spent on Phillip Rivers to throw double-digit interceptions for us when Jacoby only threw 6. 6. No one wants to focus on how that's pretty good. Like, sure, he sat out 2 games, but no one wants to focus on Phillip Rivers' 20-something interceptions. But everybody wants to focus on Jacoby's 6. I'll see you guys in the next video. This franchise just continues to disappoint me. I wish you the best, Jacoby. And I hope you stick with the Colts for your whole career. If they even offer you a contract once your current one is up. And I know everybody's going to get ticked off by this, and I'm going to be hated by a lot of Colts fans, but if you support the Phillip Rivers signing, you're not a Colts fan. Either that or you're just not very educated in the sport of football, because pretty sure 23 is more than 6, and in interceptions, more is worse and less is better. So, yeah. See you guys in the next video. Jacoby's a future Pro Bowler and Hall of Famer if the Colts start him, so see you guys in the next video.